This video is sort of like a public emergency announcement, an interruption in your service, and I thought it was really important to repeat a message that is often said but gets buried away in the daytime. Morning and night, it maybe comes back to us, and then in the daytime it leaves, and that is, you have to be you. And I it's so repeated and so corny, but it's so true. And the way I can communicate that to you is to assure you that every cell in your body is beautiful and beautifully imperfect. And that means that you might look at other people in the daytime and say, I think I should be more like this person, and I need to be more like this and that. And it's not that way at all. It's perfect the way it is. And I think that's why this skill can only be, or this trait can only be, of seeing perfection in the imperfect mess of cells and things that happen. Can one of the only practices, aside from quiet time and sitting, is the creative practice of making art. And I believe music has taught me that, because as I can sit and scheme on paper what I think I should be doing, and what kind of, or I can sit and listen to other people's music and think that I need to be doing this or that, and I can look at how other people portray themselves and think that I need to be that. But when I sit down at my instrument, that is whatever the notes that are communicated from my brain signals into my hands, into the instrument. That's all that matters, and that is me. And all the mistakes I make and my inability to master certain things that were used to be deemed important in music, I don't necessarily believe they are. For example, reading notes is a lot of energy is spent reading and writing notation. I know it's important in some ways. It's how music is communicated, but when we should encourage people to be able to sit at an instrument and play whatever they want to play gobbledygook. When you sit and draw, you should be able to draw gobbledygook. That's why do we call it doodling, and we denigrate doodling as this lesser form. Doodling in many cases is the art. It's the free writing of text. It's all these things. And so anyways, the creative practice was one way to work through this idea of you being you. And it could be even, your creative practice could be sculpting, it could be doing something in the garage, electronics, it could be having a travel blog, and it's something that you are most passionate about, not necessarily good at, not necessarily something that you can earn a living at, but you know that when you sit down to do it, time disappears, time dilates, and all this crap in the world becomes second order and non-existent. And that's really what I think. And through this practice, you become you. And I'll always tell the Miles Davis story. Miles Davis did not become Miles Davis by being Charlie Parker. When he used to play with these Charlie Parker, he had to play very fast, and it was not him. He had a breakdown, and he re-emerged, and cool jazz was born. Cool jazz gave birth to fusion jazz and acid jazz and changed jazz forever. different than free jazz. Free jazz is its own, but there were some overlaps in there. But this is not a jazz discussion. But it is the story of how one person. It's the most beautiful story I know of that I can tell people to give you concrete example of you being you, and you work in a company and you have to fit in, and it can be very difficult to be someone that you're not. It will start to degrade you like sandpaper over time, having to be someone you're not. It's very hard to keep it together. And I can't give you the prescription, but you can slowly work towards it, and you can pepper in you and everything you do. In this video, I pepper in my music and what I know about music and what it's taught me. And for you pepper it. You start to pepper it in to your identity, and you share what you do. If let's say you play piano in the dark in the skunk works, show a few friends you playing piano. You don't have to post it on social media. You just start to get in the habit of sharing what you do, your gift. And I will say one thing is that it is hard to be us, because we typically might blame our phone addictions and media consumption for influencing, through the eyes and through the ears. We take on new priorities. That's why, like, the morning and the night are very unique times. You're not being hammered with it, depending on who you are. You're not being hammered with messaging. But don't go around saying that these technologies are the enemy. In this case right here, I'm using the technology to inspire new ways of thinking, or to work through my own thoughts on the matter. And there's no reason to say that this is evil. Sure, it can be used for evil in the wrong hands, if you let it into you, it can take over your entire life. You can be that's sort of the political type person who can only think that the world is broken because they're only looking at the world in that way. Go walk in a park, and the world becomes something completely different. It becomes the most beautiful place you can find in the universe. And so the technologies have always been here to influence us. You go back to radio, go back to your pre-internet childhood. Television was on all the time. You're playing video games. Radio, Gutenberg press, probably cave paintings were doing the exact same thing. Storytelling. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because it's up to you, a choice that you make to chart your own path, and to be an artist, and to be original, and to do what you think you need to be doing. So that's it. That's all I'm telling you right now.